Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is just an update video. It's not an actual episode of BeamNG Drive. I just happen to be playing it in the background. But episodes are going to be coming back. I have to make a few adjustments to my setup here before I can start actually recording and editing videos again. But yeah, I've been gone for about a month and a lot of people were wondering what happened. I guess, you know, there are people that don't read the community posts to see what has been going on. So I'm going to give you the long version of the story because this is a video. So earlier this year, my wife and I had gone to Germany with BeamMP for Gamescom. And while at Germany, I had developed a slight pain in my right leg. Since Germany, that pain had started developing into a moderate pain, and then something more severe where I was actually using a cane to get around and go to work and stuff. Started with physical therapy at a facility in my hometown, and it didn't help. So at the end of, you know, the 3 weeks that I was supposed to be with this physical therapy entity, they did a evaluation to see how my range of motion had improved, and they were like, oh, your range of motion has gotten worse. So that wasn't good. So this whole time, we had been chasing the issue around as a muscle issue. Because that's like, you know, the first thing you look at when you have a pain and you have limited mobility in a limb. You look at your muscles first, right? So I've been going to doctor, went to a sports medicine doctor on the other side of Oahu a couple of times. Finally scheduled a CT scan, which was supposed to be for December 19th. Keep that date in mind. But on the 15th of November, the pain developed into a stabbing pain, at which point I couldn't walk anymore. I managed to drive myself home using my left foot, which I do not recommend, by the way. Showered, changed, in a great deal of pain, and then convinced my parents to take me to Queens West Medical Center. Queens West took a CT early, and they found a lesion within the bone of my right hip. So this was basically a tumor that was consuming the bone, which is why the hip or the leg had been in pain for so long. The pain in my leg was actually referred pain from the issue with the hip. So obviously that had to go, so they transferred me to Queens Main, which is the main hospital for the entire state of Hawaii. And they had to do a biopsy to see if it was cancer or not. And while they were doing that biopsy, the compromised bone in my hip finally broke. Which was bad, because the idea had been, they're going to take the biopsy, then they're going to send me home with crutches so I could wait out the results of the biopsy at home. Because it was going to take 3 weeks for the biopsy results to come in, because we have to send them off to Minnesota. Well, since the hip broke, instead they slapped an X-Fix on my leg, and I'll put a picture of an X-Fix here. Not my X-Fix, because ew, but an X-Fix. That's an X-Fix right there on your screen. And with that X-Fix on my body, I could not bend at all. So I spent 3 weeks lying flat on my back at Queens Main. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't adjust the bed. Couldn't sit up. Nothing. Because it was pinned through my leg and my hip, which, if you know basic biology, means you can't bend at all. There were a few other complications along the way, but needless to say, that was the worst part of the entire experience, was just 3 weeks flat on my back. All I had was my phone. I had friends visiting every now and then. My wife came almost every week. So the results came back, and the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota hold on. Can you not? The Mayo Clinic in Minnesota determined that it wasn't cancer, which is great. So they took me in for surgery, and they put a metal nail in my hip along with some other hardware to rebuild it. And then on December 11th, I was transferred to a facility called the Rehab Hospital of the Pacific, which is where I've been since. I just got discharged today as I'm filming this video, and I'm, you know, getting ready to readjust to life at home. So that has been where, that's where I've been. My friend Cav You know him as Get Gaved or Gav the Stig 66 if you haven't been paying attention for like 8 months. Started a GoFundMe for the medical expenses. I'll just pop that in here since it exists. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, that's where I am now. So I have to wait. I still cannot put weight down on my right leg because the fracture and the rebuilt hip are still healing. So right now I can only really hop around on my left foot. I've got a wheelchair and a handicap parking pass and everything. I can park in the good spaces at Costco as long as I beat the 80-year-old grandmas there at 5 in the morning. Anyway, so hopefully by January, mid-January, I'm able to put weight back on my leg, and hopefully by mid-February I'm walking again. And then content will resume normally. I might put out a few videos here and there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get into a full upload schedule because so yeah, once February comes around, I should be able to actually sit in my editing chair and actually record and edit videos again. For now, they're going to be few and far between just because it's a hip injury, so I can't sit straight. I have to favor my left side with my weight, which means that I can't sit in chairs specifically for long periods of time. And that's just, you know, part of the recovery process. I want to thank everybody, both in the community and my friends who, you know, were concerned, sent me messages on YouTube and Discord and everything. And then I've got to reach out to my friends. I don't know if they'd want me to use their real names on this, but they know who they are. They visited me twice a week in the hospital. They smuggled me food from 7-Eleven and everywhere I wanted them to smuggle food from, even though they weren't supposed to. So that was a good time. And then, of course, my wife, for rearranging the entire house so I could survive here after coming back from rehab. Took her a very long time to do this room that I'm sitting in right now because it's very small and it has an inadvisable amount of furniture for the size of room that it is. But for now, I'm going to edit this video together. Actually, I might just put it out the way it is. And then I'll see you guys when I get back full time. Bye.